Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a rolled rimmed vessel today, because I've been making a few in sets. So I'm actually throwing on a bat. Usually you would use a bat if you were creating something quite large that you wouldn't want to remove off the wheel head. These are actually really small and a little bit fiddly to take off, so I'm going to throw it on a bat and leave it on a bat when I've finished. So just going to centre first of all, so squeezing up into the cone, pressing back down, squeezing up again, pressing back down. It's quite fiddly because it's quite a small piece of clay. So something like this you could also throw off a hump. So if you've got anything smaller than this, you could throw off a big block of clay and just throw on the top of the clay. But this one I'm actually throwing from a ball of clay. So I'm just going to open up that form now. So I've just flattened off the top a little bit, wet my thumbs and press down into the centre. And then I'm going to pull. These have got quite a flat base, so I'm going to pull out quite flat for the base. I'm just going to slow it down a little bit, and I'm going to pull out to the side. And the thing with a flat base, you need to compress the clay because it's quite prone to cracks. So I'm going to get a rib, and you could use a rib or a rubber kidney, and you're just going to press into the base of that pot just to compress the clay. And then what I'm going to do is just measure that, because these little pots that I'm making are a particular measurement. So that's right, that's 7 on the bottom, and then they're going to flare out a little bit to about 9 at the top. So I'm just going to compress that top edge before I pull up, and then I'm going to slow the wheel down a little bit, and I'm going to pull that external wall up. That's one pull. Go again. Okay, so I'm just going to measure that. Even that top edge off. Now it does flare out a little bit, so what I'm going to do is, now I've got the thickness of the clay that I want, I can feel that that is an even thickness. What I'm going to do now is flare that piece out. So I'm just going to use a rib to do that, take a bit of that excess clay off the bottom, and I'm just going to press the clay against the rib just to flare that top edge out a little bit. So you're not thinning the clay, you're just shaping the clay. Okay, let's just measure that, see if that's a little bit too wide. So I'm just going to press in a little bit, take that back in. Okay, that's fine. So what I'm going to do with that top edge is I'm going to create a rolled rim, because this particular set has rolled rimmed edges. So I'm just going to thin that top bit of clay a little bit by squeezing it, and then I'm going to put a finger either side and press with the top finger over the bottom finger. As you can see, it's starting to roll over. And then at this point I swap to my thumb, and with the thumb continue round to create that rolled rim, like so. Okay. And then I'm just going to take a little sponge and clean that up. clean the inside. And then just going to turn a little bit off the bottom to get my wire under with the tool I've had for about 25 years, which I've found when I've been working from home. And I'm just going to take a little bit off the bottom there. These won't require much turning afterwards because they're pretty straightforward. It's not like a bowl where I've got to trim the shape. So I'm just putting that little indent, and afterwards some of them I might not even have to turn. So I'm just going to wire under, and then this will stay on the back to dry. Actually, I'll take a bit of moisture off there before I take it off, and lift that off.